Creativity, creativity in progress. Creativity in progress. Creativity in progress.
Hello and welcome to Creativity in Progress, as our lovely Sam Stokes just sang to you. And unfortunately, you have my voice as opposed to hers from now on. As always, I am joined by my extremely lovely goateed co-host, Nathan Beatty Jr. III. Nathan, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great.
Wonderful to hear. Wonderful to hear. And even our even lovelier co-host, who joins us, who's in the best mood possible, Ariana Orner. Ari, how are you?
I'm okay.
She is eating macaroni and cheese right now, so she's actually in a very good mood.
No, sorry.
Never
I was biting on an
apologize.
ice cube.
Never apologize for that. So if this is your first time to the show, thank you very much for coming to it. Please don't leave just yet. I promise it gets better than this. I don't talk the entire time. The point of this show,
We really need to work on your self-image stuff, my man. Like, seriously.
I've been saying that literally since I've met you. Since before I met you. Oh my goodness gracious. But what we do on this show is that the three of us are more or less like your parents telling you a bedtime story. And we come up with the story we're going to tell by rolling for it with the die. We roll for the genre, we roll for the setting, we roll for the time period, and then we roll for three archetypes, types of characters that'll be in this story. And we do this over two parts. The first week, we do it pretty much, we come up and do the roll of the die, and then we come up with the first act and some change. And the second week, we finished up the second act, and we finish off the story altogether. So last week, we actually rolled for the genre of sci-fi, the setting of the big city, the time period of the future. Archetype number 1 was the champion. Archetype number 2 was the destroyer. And archetype number 3 was a clown. And the title of this wonderful, magnificent masterpiece is When Mink Met Ifrit. And if you're thinking that, if I had only been listening to that episode, I could have understood the context of that title. Nope. It'd be even worse if you actually listened to the episode, because there's no context. It's just Nathan Beatty being Nathan Beatty.
Yes, it's just me. Hey, you give me the wheel, you get to go where I drive. That's all I'm saying, my man.
I regret nothing at all. So a quick recap of what the story was. What'd you say, Ari?
I said no regrets.
No regrets. No regrets.
Which reminds me, actually, and this is a shame that I will carry the entire episode. Last episode, the time period was the future. So
yeah, I see it. I see. Yes,
I'd added an extra R in future, so
that's okay.
It's a special time period. I'm sorry, Ethan, I interrupted you.
No, it's what's funny. Of course, I have so many typos. I'm constantly typing and retyping everything I put on my page. It's bizarre that I had anything I spelled right, so I don't fault you one bit, my friend. But all I was going to say was just a quick recap of and grammar is horrible. Quick recap of the story was just that we came up with it that the street clown was working hard on the streets of the big city. The champion is an incredible female athlete and fighter, and a destroyer is actually an artificial intelligence. And the clown unknowingly bumps into a crime lord doing one of his bits on the street. The mob, and he ends up basically pickpocketing the mob boss. The mob catches a clown and throws him in their fight pits and in their races, the maze races that they have for entertainment. While he's trying to survive these crazy races and whatnot, the mob bosses have some kind of an arrangement where they go to see this unknown buyer that wants to buy some of their stuff that they have. Once they get there, they actually end up getting killed by an unknown assailant who turns out to be the destroyer. And the destroyer is actually after the mob, because the mob has a special drive on them, like a hard drive on them. And once the mob is done, once the mob goes out and pretty much gets killed off for the most part, our champion and our clown, who are left in the employ or enslavement of the mob, decide to team up and escape. And once they escape, they pretty quickly realize that they're in danger. So they go to the clown's safe houses, and because the clown, for the most part, is the only one who's had any experience living on the street, the champion has to pretty much abide by what he says. And the clown then realizes that he remembers that he's pickpocketed something from the mob, and he realizes that that what he has must be worth something. It must be at least valuable enough to this unknown assailant that he decides to get it hacked into by someone. And when he does that, he finds out that this drive has a computer virus on it, or a super virus on it, and he's not sure why that is or what it can do, but he knows it's obviously important. And that's where we left off last time.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Do you guys have any thoughts to start us off?
None.
Good. Mondays are great.
Yes. Well, I always try to take the week to, try to think about it. I'll say at the end of the previous episode, okay, I really got to think about this next week so that way I can have some really great ideas. And then, and then it gets to the part where you're finishing up and I go, oh shit, I forgot to do that. Oh, damn.
It is all right. That's what we're here for. That's why the three of us are working together as parents telling a story. Ari, did you have any ideas?
Okay. So, if this thing is an artificial intelligence, there must be a hardware component, right?
Yes.
Of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's probably, they're going to take down this big bad, then they have to find the hardware component and destroy it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that's where you upload the virus.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that really the virus should be the they have to get the thing, like whatever it is, like USB drive type thing, to that hardware component to plug it in, and once it's plugged in, AI is done. But they have to get there, and that's what I think needs to discover. But the question becomes, how do they find out that are they doing that under other pretenses, thinking like, oh, well, we need to get this here so that way we can, like, maybe it's so that way it will, forget who we are and we can go and we can assume a new identity or whatever. And then they find out, or is it they realize that it's an AI and they need to, they're like, oh, we must take it down.
Well, I feel like they realize pretty soon that it's not going to stop hunting them. Even if they give it the drive because they know too much. So their only option is to just fight back or lay down and die.
Mm-hmm.
And neither of them do that as people, lay down and die.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're going to die anyway, then they're probably going to be like, all right, well, you know what? We might as well try and kill this thing, right?
Yeah. And so I guess we have established that the champion and the clown do in fact know that this is that the destroyer is an AI. They're not wondering if it's, because I think we weren't sure last time.
Well, no, I think last time I think it needs to be held back. I think that idea needs to be held back. But my question is, do we continue holding it back until the climax battle, or do we reveal it now? And have them then have it switch to be, now we must take down the destroyer, or is it that it's held back and they are doing it for other reasons that make sense? We can figure that out, and then it's revealed.
I think that, definitely having it. Yeah, having it. It's almost like there's no reason for them to. Because also this is for the audience too. The audience doesn't exactly know what's hunting them or chasing them. Eventually, we got to reveal to the audience. Usually within the second act, who the bad guy is essentially. So I think somewhere in the second act it'll be revealed to both of them. We can reveal to them and the audience that the actual person they're running from is in fact an AI. The way we come up with that hasn't been established yet, but we can get to that. And as Ari was saying too, if this is an AI, it obviously has a hard drive, but it also means it has the ability to, go full. Let's go full sci-fi. It can possess or control all kinds of different things that require Wi-Fi or electronics. So you can have it where it seems like they're being hunted down by a guy in a car, and of course there's no one driving a car. Or you can see that there's helicopters or whatnot chasing them, and of course there's no one in those things. No one's actually piloting them. But from their perspective, it just seems like they can do everything.
yeah, like I mean, they have I'm imagining the destroyer like calling them, like taunting them from electronic devices,
Yes.
and they assume that it's like a person who just has like
Right.
all this access to it because it sounds human.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, have a human voice. Yeah.
But then they really have no reason to believe that it's an AI until the end.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like there may be something, like this super hacker finds in the code. They're like, oh, it's a virus. Okay, well, what does it do? And the thing he stumbles upon is like, oh, it will break down the surveillance system and essentially erase the last like couple weeks or whatever. And they go, oh, that's our ticket out. Okay, what do we got to do to make this happen? And they go, oh, well, you got to get to the mainframe and plug it into the mainframe, but that's impossible. And they're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, no, we're going to do that. That's what I was thinking.
Well, one thing to keep in mind about that too is, we had to keep in mind that the whole point is that the destroyer wants this virus. So the idea is that it would be to keep it clear that it's incentivized on some level for the destroyer to get it back. So if we're saying that, oh, this will destroy all the footage or whatnot on the surveillance cameras, you would think, well, they would see what's on they would see what's on the cameras, the footage that's on there, and they'd be looking for somebody. Otherwise, why would this anonymous person want this footage so badly? So it's got to be something where it would seem like there would be a reason why someone would want this.
Well, I actually think the destroyer wants it, but it wants it to be destroyed. Like, essentially, it wants to get the virus, get that thing, and destroy it before it gets anywhere near it. Because if that gets anywhere,
that's what I'm thinking too. Yeah. So it seems almost contradictory for what the virus can do. Yeah, the virus can actually like, almost like you can still leave it a little bit open ended as far as this virus destroys things. It can destroy everything. If you have it pretty much what the hacker says, this virus can destroy everything. It can destroy all kinds of stuff. It can destroy this. And they themselves, the clown and the champion, say, "Oh, that's cool. We can use it for our own personal, selfish means." But that's as far as they think about it. They don't realize that it can do so much more. It can do such a greater thing.
Yeah.
So like leave it more open ended as far as it can do. It's a super virus.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I was thinking that it was like the virus is so complicated and so whatever that it's even above the super hacker, where the super hacker doesn't even fully understand what it can do. He's still only grasping a portion of its abilities. So he goes, oh, well, this can do this, and here's the situation, and only the destroyer knows its full like. Yeah, no, this can, this can kill me,
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
They see it as a compliment with that device that was used in this trope has been used in a few different types of movies. One of them was in Dark Knight Rises, where Catwoman was told basically how there's a drive that kind of gives you a blank slate, a brand new way to start over. Even at the end of a Fight Club, spoiler alert, how they try to reset the national credit score for everyone to 0. This is something like that these two see for themselves. Two people, one of them who's homeless, basically, and one other person who has no life, or actually has no identity whatsoever. They see this virus as a chance to give themselves a brand new life. That's what they want to do with it. That's their incentive to go into this drive and use it on some level. And of course, the destroyer sees it in the opposite end. She sees it as this is a threat to them, a threat to her or whatever. If this virus gets into her hard drive, she'd be, effed.
Yeah.
So that's the fighting over it for that reason. And like you said, the clown and champion are, at this point, because they're unaware of the fact that it is an AI that's chasing them, they're very short-sighted. So they might think this is another gangster that there's some kind of footage on this, or there's some footage somewhere that for some reason it wants this, as opposed to it's a actual computer itself, an AI itself that wants to preserve its own well-being. Okay. So this opportunity.
I still also have images you mentioned, like they can get into stuff, and I'm just imagining a toaster of death.
Perfect.
Oh no, the blunder's coming to get me.
Yes, we have to do. We have to have a lot more like devices trying to kill them. You gotta do that stuff. Okay. All right. So now they're on the run to get to. And I guess the hacker could tell them a place they could go to upload this virus to pretty much destroy some things or change things to computers. So it could just be this big, huge computer factory type of thing.
Yeah.
Skynet super thing, you know.
Yeah.
But along the way, when they're doing this, the clown might get a little rushed or something might happen and they get spotted by any kind of camera or whatnot, and the destroyer is able to see them. And last time we discussed the idea that the destroyer would have agents or people that worked that were in its employ that could do things, or
boots on the ground,
manhunters or whatnot.
Yeah,
boots on the ground.
Yeah, I think we'll also Ari mentioned the idea that I really liked, that when the hacker starts digging into the virus, that sends up a red flag for the destroyer.
Right. That's how it gets started.
Yeah,
that's right.
And I also think it would be fun to have this super hacker character believe that the destroyer character, who everybody in the world thinks is just the government, the hacker thinks, oh no, man, it's totally an AI. And I swear to God, like be totally tinfoil hat lunatic guy.
Right.
That they are like, all right, dude, just shut up and tell us what's on this disk. Just leave us alone. Leave the crazy away, and then have it be real. Like, I think that would just be really fun. I know it's tropey, but I think it would just be funny.
No, I'm seeing it as kind of I love it too. It's more fun because obviously we're going to need probably some kind of another comic relief against the clown and the champion. It could be like a Tim Blake Nelson type or something like that.
What were you going to say, Ari? I'm sorry.
Oh, I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh, sorry. I thought I heard
please
you come
continue, Ethan.
I'm sorry.
Oh, nope. Nope.
Perfect. And in sync as always. Okay. So once that happens, once it does set off the alarm, as our duo is getting ready to leave, obviously that's when the boots on the ground could bust in there. And we're saying boots on the ground. Do you want to go full like Battlestar Galactica and have the boots on the ground, or actually like computer or like robots or something, or you want it to be people?
I think it could be a mix.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be a mix. I'd honestly hadn't considered, like, despite us having an artificial intelligent villain, I hadn't actually considered that maybe robots existed.
Of course, it's the future and stuff.
But maybe it's so smart that it built its own army.
Yes. So my first thought was, because we are doing this in this kind of like Skynet in a way, was basically they might appear like people or whatnot, but they're cyborgs. They're people. They're human-esque. So they're not full-blown Schwarzeneggers, but they're wearing like masks, or they're wearing like all dark clothing, and they appear to be people. And then once the champion starts fighting them and she's punching with her fist, she realizes these guys are really tough. What's going on here? And
She
that's
punches
when
one in the gut and is like, ow!
yes, exactly. Well, and that's when because we're planting the seeds that there's more to this baddie, the destroyer, than meets the eye. That it's not just some random gangster or something else.
I do think also that there should be some human element within the ranks to further throw off everybody, because because if everything's a robot, then it's easier to just go like, well, maybe the everything's a robot, where like and I think there should be a certain point, like as they go through the ranks of the, like get the mini boss, it goes from a blend to just robots, and that's kind of a subtle tip.
Right. Yeah. As I get higher, as I go further up the chain, the food chain, it gets less and less organic, so to speak. And it's always fun to have someone of like a man in front of the curtain, so to speak. Someone that you think is the big bad, and it turns out no, they're nobody. They're serving.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that can be our human element. Get more into who that person might be later on as well. Okay.
I think it would be interesting to add. Sorry, I'm just full of ideas now.
Good.
To add like a thing that happens where when they are getting close to the mainframe, where this is like, remember, this is supposed to be the seat of government. Like, this is supposed to be the where stuff happens, and they get in there and it is extremely sterile, like just walls, like hardly any doors, no bathrooms, like, little subtle things that is a major tip to them. Like, okay, this isn't, like,
I like that, especially like the not having human needs. So why would you have human things that are just taken for granted every day?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And have it be like, and like, yeah, like there's no stairs. Like there's just, and it's like they need to get from one level to another and there's no stairs. And they're like, well, how the fuck are we going to get up there? They have to figure that kind of shit out.
But then the first thing we had to do in order because obviously ordinarily the hacker may have just told them, oh, just go to this random computer, this random silo, whatnot here. The human component, the human mini boss, essentially is the one that tells them about the actual building they need to go to for real. And the real building is the one that seems so sterile and whatnot. So the first part of the mission is them finding, I guess it would be right after they leave the hacker's house. The way I see it too is once they are getting ready to leave the hacker's place, as already said, it sets off an alarm, like a trap, essentially telling them where the location is to the destroyer. These agents get there, and while the champion is trying to fight off the agents and whatnot, some of them do. One of them at least kills the hacker, or mortally wounds him or something. And as they leave there in a haste, as they escape there in a haste, they go to where the hacker pretty much told them to go to try and upload this.
And what would be interesting if as part of the misdirection of it all, he goes, you need to go to, such and such place. That's where that's where you need to, the mainframe is held for these records and whatever. You need to take it there and get it into the mainframe. You'll be set. They go, it's like a normal office building type thing. They fight the mini boss guy. Through that, they discover, he goes, no, you need to go to the Capitol building. And they're like, why the fuck do we need to go to the Capitol building? And he's like, that's where you need to go. And so they go there, and it's one of those things where on the outside of it, to even further do the crazy, the outside of it looks like a Capitol building. It's got the big old rotunda and the things and everything, and they go inside, and it's a metal thing.
Oh, so I think what you're getting at is the idea that the the government representation in this city, the mayor, the governor, whatever it is, people believe to be a human, is in fact the destroyer.
Yeah, that's what I thought. We all thought this whole time.
No, I definitely didn't realize that the whole time. I love it. I didn't.
I like that even better. I was sort of under the impression that the destroyer was more of like a rogue element, but I like that it's official.
Right.
That makes a lot more sense as to this is like mafia people.
Right, makes it more of a conspiracy. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was in a completely different book. Yeah, from like point one, I thought the destroyer was the government, and was an AI controlling everything.
No. We both love the idea, but it was never established. We didn't know that's what you were thinking.
Oh, why don't you read my mind, y'all?
I'm sorry, I can't afford it. But yeah, that's a great idea. That's a perfect idea.
Communication to figure things out. Like, God.
I was sending out the vibes.
I love it.
God, you didn't even vibe check. Jesus.
So our dynamic duo goes to.
I'm rusty with all this social distancing.
Of course.
Yeah, I don't know what socializing is anymore. I don't think I ever did. So I'm with you, man.
Yeah. Well, hey, everybody's now with you in that, so it's like we're on the same level now.
So I'm just saying they go to our dynamic duo goes to the place that the hacker told them to go, which is called this big computer silo, and they find this guy they believe to be the boss of bosses and things like that. Mm-hmm. And as they're interrogating him, as the champion, of course, is using her strength to interrogate him more ferociously, they find out that he's actually more or less nobody. He's just working on behalf of the real true power. And so they still don't even know what is really happening. And before he can give too much information, he says, go to, like you said, go to the, not Congress, but go to the government. What actual building is it? It's basically the Congress government.
I said it was
building,
like the Capitol building, like it was the seat
Capitol
of government, whatever. And
Okay.
I'm using the Capitol building because I'm thinking of our Capitol building that has like the big rotunda and the whatever. That I'm thinking that kind of building. So and they're like, why?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And before he can answer the why, the agents catch up to them again, and they more or less they're trying to stop them. I don't know if they may not kill this guy. Maybe they do. It's not important. The idea is that it stops the conversation, and they have to fight off the agents again. They might beat them. They might not. But
I think this would be a good place to have that scene where they've quote unquote defeated the mini boss. They've got him, they're like, okay, why, like, where do we need to go? And blah, blah, blah. And the agents get there and they're like, whoa, back off. We've got your guy. And the agents just kill the guy.
Right.
And they're like,
Yeah.
well, shit.
that's the reveal. Yeah, that's the reveal. He's nobody. Yeah. Yeah.
And then that way, when they get to the destroyer and they're like, well, why'd you kill your guy? And they're like, well, he's replaceable. All humans are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then we upset. Like obviously, it seems like they're surrounded, like they're done for. And this is when the clown is able to pull off some kind of a trick. Like he's pretty much like I knew since the last time we fell for this trick where we went somewhere with this drive, and of course it lured all you guys. I had a feeling they did the same thing again. So he pretty much sets off the trap, which kind of blows up everybody, and somehow it's like it blows up the floor where the champion and the clown are, but it blows up everything above them, destroying like a bunch of the agents, more or less, a way for them to kind of escape from this in one piece. I'm just calling it mini boss, the human guy, mini boss. Hostage.
I love how like we were writing for a movie using video game terms.
100%, and I refuse to ever stop doing it.
No. I enjoy it. It should continue. I just like it.
Well, hey, hell,
What's funny though is
okay, good.
No, finish, Nate. Finish.
I was just gonna say this could be a script for a video game. Like
I hope it is.
As I would play this game. I would play so many games of the things that were written.
Yes. Well, I think I think it would be fun, and we definitely can say that because at least at this point we're not writing the dialogue, so it's not like we have to write thousands of pages of dialogue that you typically have to write for a video game. So
Right. Yeah.
I was watching a playthrough the other day of a Final Fantasy game, and it's just like the amount of dialogue for every little thing, for every outcome, is insanity. I don't know how they do
all the coding, all the coding you got to do too. It's like it is insane. Have either of you? I know you guys have probably seen some of Last of Us 2. That game is like 30 hours or so. There's a lot of dialogue, a lot of conversation, a lot of mocap. It's like, whew, this is books upon books upon books of writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the whole voice actor strike that happened a couple years back. A big part of it was because of voice actors were rightly upset about the fact that like they weren't getting certain concessions for video game stuff because they were having to sit there like it's like, okay, today is going to be your scream day. So we're going to spend the day screaming. Okay, this is when you die when you have your head blown off. Okay, this is when you die when you get shot in the stomach, and this is when you die when you lose your leg. And it's like, and they like I've heard some voice actors basically say that like they essentially when they take a video game job, they essentially have to tell their agent, okay, clear the next month and make it so I don't have to work the next month because I'm not going to be able to talk because it destroys your voice so bad.
Yeah.
I call it. There's so many times.
Voice actors talking about like how if you don't take care of your voice, you're just gonna ruin it.
Oh yeah.
For the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's horrific. For the rest of your life, that's horrible. Yeah. And there's so many different types of screams and everything that are done. It's like, oof, and the grunts. I mean, Nate, you know, that you're a voice actor. I couldn't imagine like being trapped in a booth for hours.
Like
and
imagine
having to
you're in
scream.
like a Call of Duty game or something. Where it's just screaming.
Yeah.
And I know that what's his face? It's not Tom Kenny. Whoever the guy is that does the voice of SpongeBob, like because
that's Tom Kenny.
Yeah,
it's Tom Kenny.
Yeah, it's Tom Kenny.
And he is passed, I think, right? Yeah, but he did SpongeBob's laugh differently so often. So for him, it was always a matter of like that laugh is so high pitched and grating, but it could destroy you if you if you aren't careful with your voice.
Yeah, Tom Kenny hasn't passed. You're thinking of the creator of some SpongeBob.
I'm the creators, but yes, I know I get the mixed up. Mixed up, yeah.
I was gonna say
somebody I just watched did like a thing with like a YouTube thing where he went through all his characters, which was fascinating because I'm just like, how many voices do you have, my man?
Seriously, it's bananas. Of course, then you got other folks like Rob Paulsen, and I love Rob Paulsen. I think Rob Paulsen is amazing. I think he's a really good voice actor. But once you've heard his voice enough, like, and I'm even mean like just hear him talk for like an hour, then you will be able to pick out every cartoon character he has ever done anytime you watch something with him in it. You know, it just, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, who's
like the guy who does Rick and Morty?
Justin Roiland?
Justin Roiland, yeah. He's kind of the same.
Yeah.
I love him, but like he's got an extremely distinctive voice.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that one of the epitomes of that is who's pretty popular in animation right now is H. John Benjamin.
But the thing is, he never changes his voice though. It's always just the same Archer voice.
Yeah, Archer well, it's funny because I saw Bob's Burgers first. So to me, that's the Bob Burger voice. That's Bob.
Yeah.
And so when I hear that coming out of Archer, I'm like, you're supposed to be slinging burgers and be like, have a dad bod. What is happening? You know?
Yeah, there's the opposite for Archer. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
I've people who are like, who only see Archer and they don't know who voice acts Archer. And they have an image in their brain of who this man looks like. And they think he looks like Archer, which I get that a lot when somebody voices in a character and I don't know what they really look like. I'm like, oh, they look like that character. Yes. And they're just like surprised at the difference.
I love when it's like someone that's completely has no business sounding the way they sound. Like for me, obviously, like Troy Baker when he does Joel. Like my roommate who hasn't played The Last of Us 1 or 2, but she watched me play a bunch of Last of Us 2. And like I was like, that voice, she was talking about Joel. She was like, oh, he must be, from the sticks, must be a country guy. They must have actually cast him for that way. It's like, no, he actually is nothing like that. She didn't quite believe me. I had to actually show her what he looked like and actually show him doing the voice and mocap. And she's mad at me almost that I broke that illusion for her. So yeah, it's something. My favorite voice actor, one of my favorite voices, has always been Maurice LaMarche.
Oh, I love Maurice.
Of the Brain, thinking of Brain. But Maurice LaMarche has a very distinct voice. He also has lots of impressions of Orson Welles, and it's pretty much once you've heard it, it's like, oh, that's Maurice. That's all Maurice. There's no,
You brought up Maurice. You mentioned Orson Welles. I have to tell the story. The way the character, the Brain, came around, he would do for his warm up when he was doing stuff for this was before Animaniacs, mostly for Tiny Toons,
right? Yeah.
And before that, he went doing his warm up. He would do the Orson Welles frozen peas, commercial. Which, if you have no idea what I'm talking about and you think I just did word salad, go onto YouTube and type in Orson Welles frozen peas, and there is a recording of Orson Welles trying to record a commercial for frozen peas, and he's just belligerent and just
losing his shit.
Oh God! And he just he tears into the engineer. It's
for no reason. It's absurd. It's absurd.
Well, Maurice would do that as Orson Welles as a joke for his warm up. Well, when he came in to audition, I want to say he was auditioning for Pinky, but I may be wrong. He was going into audition for Animaniacs, and he was doing the warm up, and he was like one of the first actors to try out, and he was doing the warm up, and apparently I think it was Steven Spielberg and a couple other folks were sitting in the room, and they looked at each other and they were like, "You've got the part," and he was like, "What part? I don't even know what part of it." And they were like,
"What?
You've got the brain. You've got it." So
I love it. It's so perfect. Also, if you get a chance, please look at the commercial with the frozen peas. However, that's a very negative commercial. Look up the one where he's talking about the wine.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
Where he literally gets drunk.
We're losing you, Ethan.
I think he came in buzz.
Oh. Well, Orson Welles was like,
I guess he's seen a large man just lose his. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're cutting in and out, my man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Testing. I wonder if that's the podcast way of saying, "Hey, stop talking about voice."
You've gone off topic. Bring it back.
But we digress severely. But yeah, I talk about voice actors for.
Yes.
All right. But speaking of voice actors, just for fun, just for S&Gs, I revealed last week who I saw as the voice of, because the Destroyer is going to have a voice. The Destroyer, I see it as a female voice, but who do you guys see as the voice of the Destroyer?
I like evil women.
Please put that on a bumper sticker.
Just in general, there's nothing to do with this. Yeah, I kind of had like, I was drifting towards like a Skynet, like oh boy, what's the name of that movie that wasn't that great? It was a Terminator movie.
Yeah.
No, oh yeah, Salvation, with Sam Worthington.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you thinking of Helena Bonham Carter?
Well, no, sort of in that realm. I wasn't thinking of her exactly, but I was thinking of like that sort of type of AI, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
I've got a idea in my brain, and I cannot remember her name, so I'm looking it up really quick. Kate Blanchett.
Of course, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay,
That's sticking the dick. That's sticking the dick. So a little behind the scene, or a lot behind the. I mean, we've gone so far off the rails that there is not even a train anymore. We're just walking on foot to a different city. But we'll get back to the story in just a second. Real quick, behind the scenes, we're recording some voices for some scripts for some books that I've written, and Ari and Nate are both doing characters for it. And one of the characters is this all powerful, uber grand Pumbaa of ladies, and the best voice direction I could give to Ari is that she's basically like Kate Blanchett in Thor Ragnarok. So since I've seen Thor Ragnarok a couple of years ago, when it comes to uber powerful women, the thing that my mind first goes to Kate Blanchett every time.
Mm-hmm. That was actually kind of why my brain went there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. Boy.
The vapors in you.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's lovely. She's a lovely person.
I am.
Yes,
I'm not afraid to say it.
Ari is too. So I think the best way to go is to say Kate Blanchett. We'll actually name our destroyer Kate. Cate. That's how she's supposed to, right?
Well, you can easily make a Kate. You can make an acronym out of that. Pretty easy. I'm not going to try. I don't have a brain right now. But.
Right. Yeah. No, that's fine. And that could also work as far as like you need to see Kate in the Capitol building or even the C in Kate could be part of the Capitol building and acronym, whatever it is. But yeah, we'll call it Kate. All right. Cool deal. So when we last off 4 hours ago, we had it that the clown sets off his trap, letting all the agents know that he was anticipating them coming there for them, and he was ready to do it. Sets up the trap. him and the champion like, blow down into like the basement to escape, and make the way for the Capitol building now. And as they're on their way there, of course, like you said, we probably should have at least one automobile accident because of them. So they try to, like, I guess, either they're on foot and a car is coming at them, or they're in a car and a helicopter is coming at them, or something, or whatnot, just to kind of fun, more fun with the idea and actually even show it again, show that the actual AI is controlling these automobiles, these devices, trying to kill them. It's not just these agents. It's actual the world in and of itself is trying to destroy them too. So that could be one of the big harrowing part of the big harrowing climax is them a more or less a chase scene to get to the Capitol building.
Oh, so we're skipping back. We're skipping back.
No, yeah, just from going from point B to point E, going from the
yeah, I trust
computer
you.
place. I trust you.
Yeah, whatever the hell you want to
just-
do, it's fine.
But just going for the mini boss's building where the computer was that the agents tried to kill them. Going from there to Capitol building, there could be some kind of mini chase scene, either in a car versus helicopter or whatnot, something showing that the AI is in control of so many different things. It's not as simple as just the agents, because they may think, oh, we killed off all the agents, we're good now. It's like, no, there's also she still controls everything basically.
I do think as part of this chase, the win of the chase is that they essentially escape into the sewers or whatever to like the clown uses his uses their back door or whatever to get them away from all of that, so that way they can then get to the Capitol building.
Oh, sorry, we lost you a second there. What'd you say? I'm sorry, we lost you for a moment.
I was just saying that I think there should be a way that they escape and get into, so that way they can get into the Capitol building, because it wouldn't quite make sense to have them be chased to the Capitol building and then go inside the Capitol building where the AI has all control. Like, I think there needs to be at some point a way for them to get away from that, so that way they can get in without the destroyer knowing.
Yeah, I agree.
What if they have like a oh my god, I'm technologically illiterate. The thing in the Matrix where an EMD? No.
EMP.
Electromagnetic
EMP,
pulse.
thank you. So that will disable electric devices.
Yes,
so
an
they can get
electromagnetic
in.
pulse.
Perfect. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Words.
Words are hard. Words are hard. So they can use the EMP to escape during the chase.
Yeah, I think
And
I think that would be a good, a way to get them away, so that way they can at least shut down. They can blind the destroyer for at least a little bit, so that way they can get to the Capitol building and get in, and then and then start going about their business.
And the way when I say, I think that the champion actually had the EMP device. She actually picked it up off of the pocket of the mini boss when she grabbed him to hold him as far as like a hostage against all the other agents. She just grabbed it off him kind of quickly, not knowing what it was. And then once they are in the device, once they're in the car, or whatnot, and things are going to crap, she's like, "What is this?" And even the clown's like, "I'm not sure. Just hit it." And they hit it as an EMP or something, and it kind of sets it. Gives them a second to escape.
I think they should know what it is. Maybe they get it checked out by the dude.
Well, I was gonna say. Well,
you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, instead of the mini boss, maybe the super hacker, because why would the mini boss have something that could hurt the destroyer? The destroyer would never allow that. So I think
because but my thought was because he himself is aware of the fact that he's a human against a computer. The AI, anytime the AI could kill him. And also, if you're going to have it that the hacker has an AI, has any EMP, why wouldn't he have set it off as soon as they came in? I mean, I guess he could say he didn't know what they were.
Well, maybe he couldn't get to it in time, and he got and by the time, and also the people who get in there are people, so EMP wouldn't do anything to them.
Well, no, we're saying that they actually are. They're not people. They're actually like cyborgs. So that it would do something to them.
But I'm saying it was blended at that point. So it could be that there were people and whatever, and he does set one off, and it disables half of them, but some of them are people, and they're still able to attack. I'm just saying it doesn't from my perspective, it doesn't make sense that the mini boss would have it, because I don't think unless in the exchange, he's basically like, yeah, I'm trying to take it down from the inside too.
Yes,
take this.
That's why I see it. Yeah, he's pretty much like my time is very limited here. I guess I feel like the hacker may not have an EMP because he's not prepared for that kind of situation. The mini boss would, because he's well aware of what he's going up against. Mm-hmm. So even though he, like you said, he works for them, there are plenty of people who want to usurp their bosses, or plenty of people who are afraid of AI that work for AI still.
Well, if the hacker is convinced that the world is run by a creepy AI, of course. If he's like a conspiracy theorist person,
right,
of course he'd have like an EMP.
That's right. He's a conspiracy theorist. That's true. Yeah. That's true. Okay.
That's on. That's why I'm thinking like it might make more sense to come from the hacker, just because I actually do like the idea of the mini boss basically being like they're getting in there and they're ready to take him out, and he's like, "Yeah, I agree with you," and then he's the one that reveals that it's this is a
yeah.
Of course,
yeah, it's a little tricky. I think that it can honestly go either way. Part of what it is too is that if we have it that the duo does get the EMP from the hacker earlier on, the trap that the clown sets off could simply be him pushing the EMP button, and it could be one of those things where it's like a charge or something. They say that the hacker tells him it's an EMP bomb. It's reusable, but it takes however long to recharge. Uh-huh. So if we do it that way, he can use the EMP bomb once to actually destroy all the robots and whatnot that come and get agents that come and get them when they're at the mini boss's house or base, and then when they're in the car or whatever automobile is that they're being chased by the AI stuff, they're part of the thrill of the chase is the fact that they can't use EMP that quickly because it can't be used. They're waiting for it to recharge essentially.
Oh yeah, I like that.
The last second, and finally, it's able to get used again. As pretty much where it looks like they're it's gonna be in a car, going towards it. This is they're actually in a car on a train track, going right towards the train. Pretty much going to die, and then find the last second they push the button and it opens the car doors and they escape. Something like that,
Yeah, I like that. I like that it's that. The only there, because you're thinking this, because let me get my thoughts together before I try to make any more sound.
Of course.
Okay. In this chase, if the EMP wasn't there, there is kind of this whole well, how are they going to get out of this? The AI controls everything. But with that EMP, you give them that time of them being in the car and them being like, are they going to hit the button?
Right. It's kind of a Hail Mary type of thing. And so they pretty much thought they weren't going to have a chance. They wouldn't need it necessarily again, but once they're in the car, they realize, we do need it again, but we're effed because we can't use it that quickly. So you're just seeing them suffer more or less until it's charged.
Yeah. And that also opens up a lot of comic relief too, because I can see the champion fighting them off and shooting while the clown's driving the car to get him away, and she's going did they hit the button? He's hitting it. It's like, did it work? No.
Right. Yeah. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
That works. Okay. Alrighty. And I'll just put a note in here that the hacker gives them the EMP device. And it could be because one of his last things before he died, he says, "Here, take this." And they're like, "What is this?" It's like EMP, but use it carefully or something like he says.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Okay.
Don't be an idiot.
Don't be stupid.
And like what you said to Nate, that they can't just walk through the front door. They pretty much, once they escape from the AI automobiles and stuff in the crash, they may go into the sewers or whatnot to seemingly look like they're dead, or at least get out of eyesight of the AI, of the destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
And the champion could say, how do you know where we are? Where are we? Kind of thing. He say, we're in my home. I grew up in here. I grew up in the sewers. I know where we are, kind of thing. And then Michelangelo and Donatello could show up carrying pizzas.
Yeah. I am all about this. Let's get some.
We get Master. Teach some quick kung fu real quick.
Yes. Yeah, let's screw this whole AI thing. Let's just make the destroyer brain Krang. Let's just
yes,
just go the full nine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Krang. That's got the weirdest thing they made in that entire series. It's a talking brain with arms.
And the crazy thing is that it worked. Like it, like
everything worked.
They made millions.
So many. Have you seen that special? I mean, not to deviate way too much again, but have you seen that special on Netflix? That is the toys that made us, all about the Ninja Turtles.
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
I need to. Oh my god, that is gonna. I have a shelf of all of my old turtle toys.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's worth money. Those are worth money.
Yeah, some of them are because they actually have the original weapons.
Oh shit! Dope.
Yeah, I'm excited, but it's one of those things where it's like we found them like about 6 months ago or so, and it was like there's part of me that's like, oh, this is probably worth money. I could sell it. I don't want to sell them. Okay.
You could put both your kids in college.
What was that?
All right.
I said the attachment is real.
Oh, it is. It's bananas real. And she was like, well, you can give them to the kids to play with. I was like, nope.
No, I am the kid. I need them.
Yes. I'm still a kid, yes.
Yeah. I am the only child allowed to play with these toys.
Yeah.
All right. So now that they go through the sewers to get into the Capitol building, like you said, we can see, make it seem that the building is extremely sterile. Mm-hmm. It seems like there's now. I guess this Capitol building, because other people. Are we having it that no humans at all go into the Capitol building? That it's pretty much that the government is just. It's pretty much. It seems like it's run by a whole bunch of people, but it's actually just run by one brain itself. That's the even bigger part of the illusion.
Well, I think. I think this is one of those things where it's like everybody just assumes because it's a big city and they think that it's just like nobody really pays attention or notices that. There's or maybe have it be where people do go in and out the front door, but they're not necessarily the seat of power, and there's a lobby, but beyond the lobby it's sterile,
right. Yeah, that's right. That's what
I like
something like that.
Yeah. Like a big lobby at the bottom floor where it's just lip service, and then everything else, because nobody ever gets past that point.
Yeah, that makes the most sense. Yeah,
and everybody else thinks that the other people there are the actual people who run the government, but in reality, they're all like janitors,
Right.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. And so they use the sewers to pretty much go further than anyone else ever has, and they get into what would be the big, huge room you'd expect to see the governor's office or whatnot. Like you said, it's a big sterile area. Okay. And they're pretty much looking around for a person or something, and this is obviously the big reveal of Kate. What Kate is, essentially. And this is obviously the big Wizard of Oz man behind the curtain kind of thing, where it's actually revealed. And obviously, since this is meant to be such a big reveal, I imagine that the clown and the champion are kind of freaking out, like, what's going on here? Mm-hmm. What is this? How is this possible? Scenario.
And I think it definitely should be something where, like, the classic tropey thing of like now they need to work together and use their, their strengths to get around, defeating this thing.
So what my first thought was basically then using their skills together to try and defeat it, having the champion seemingly kind of battle either an automaton that the thing creates or whatnot. But the biggest thing is that the AI, it's the destroyer seems like it's one. There's no way it can beat them. And the destroyer tries to take the drive and break it. Mm-hmm. And the clown, in typical clown fashion, pulled one over on her and switched out. That there were like two different drives. He pretty much gave her a dummy drive, and he has the real one.
Yeah. It would be really cool if like we could do like a callback to like the first scene that he shows up in, where he's fucking around with everybody and doing cool tricks and stealing stuff. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to come up with what that might be, but it would be a really nice like tie-in callback.
Yeah, I mean,
To his
it's
skills.
like a sleight of hand kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it's where you think one thing is, that's the simplest idea.
And
Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
I was also going to say, I think we also should potentially address the fact that like create almost like there being a hole in the security of the AI, because the AI never dreamed that somebody would get where they are. So it's not like they have a security system. It's a sterile room and there's only certain things it can do. And beyond that, it really can't. But it still thinks it has the upper hand because of those few things it can do. And then that whole combined with, this other stuff, they're able to win, essentially.
Yes.
I was just thinking that because it's like a completely sterile room, all the AI can really do is like talk to them.
Yeah.
Unless it brings in people.
Yeah.
Right. And then, it may be able to do that, but that's not the point of this battle. The point of this battle is that it's the idea that it's the clown outwits a super genius brain.
Yeah.
More or less.
Yeah.
And I guess part of the role the champion could also play is that basically while our clown is distracting Kate and talking to her and everything like that, the champion is able to actually upload the real virus somewhere. So will we have it? Yes, we'd have it that there's a hard drive somewhere in this room, or we have it that the hard drive is somewhere else, and that the champion is actually back there.
No, I think it should be in this room, and I think what it should be is the one defense or the whatever that knocks the champion down, and the AI thinks, "Oh, okay, one down. Now I got to deal with the clown." And the clown is, doing that, and then does the okay, fine, here, take it, because this is one piece that the AI does have. The AI, while it can't necessarily do a lot in the room, it can do like, okay, you have families, you have friends, which obviously we, can touch on through the story. Yeah, you want them to live, maybe give me what I want.
Punk.
What was that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was just making a stupid joke.
No, I mean, you missed a joke. God damn it. But yeah, that's the easiest thing to do. Is I think that it's like you said, it could be something simple that the AI is able to do, where it seemingly knocks out a champion or takes the champ, removes the champion from this. And the champion basically, that part of her character arc is that she doesn't know how to back them. I mean, if we based her off of Michelle Rodriguez, she has no idea how to back them from a fight or even how to play possum. She doesn't do that kind of stuff. So in this one instance, even we could have it set up that before they got in there, the clown urged her, in order for this plan to work, that she would have to play possum. There were coming opportunity for her to play possum, and she would have to do it. And so she plays possum while the clown keeps talking to the AI, the destroyer, as she monologues like Syndrome about everything she's going to do, whatnot. And he seemingly acquiesces, gives her the fake dummy drive. And when the champion, of course, when the AI destroyer destroys that, it looks around like, of course, I win. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to go ahead and kill off all your friends and family, by the way, anyways, because I didn't care about you or anything else.
Yeah.
And the clown's like smiling, like, of course you are, or would have, if we didn't kill you first. And you turn over and look, and you see the champion putting the real hard drive into like the port and kind of waving at her, kind of thing. And that's how they managed to kill off the. And he mentioned, like Ari says, he mentions the idea of a sleight of hand, and it's something that you saw him do at the very beginning against on the street against nobody's.
Yeah, do it where somehow at the beginning when they first get in the room, they're able to switch, the real drive with a disc for AOL or something. Right.
That'd be even better, if it's a real like an old school, floppy drive or something basic.
Yeah.
That use,
Here's CompuServe.
Sneaky hey. CompuServe. Jesus.
Dating myself right there.
Dating both of us. 10 years before I was born. All right, sneak into.
That was the first internet service we had. That was the first internet service, CompuServe.
Yeah. The one that the military made forever ago.
Yeah. And then we got AOL.
Yeah.
was on
No.
that for way too long.
Capitol building. I know the story. I typed it out, but that's it. Okay, we're good.
What is time? I don't know. Fake.
Time is a
Time.
made-up concept. Okay.
Ooh, Ethan,
right,
today
so
you're the anonymous pumpkin. That's
Please make that. Actually, that makes a lot more sense.
Ooh.
I think.
well.
This is Halloween.
This is Halloween. This is Halloween.
Thank you. Yep, but I was putting down.
We never refuse to pick up things from you, including COVID. Okay, so please, I'm gonna change the name of this from when Mink
Right.
met Ifrit to.
I like the Ifrit though because remember we decided that the clown was because Ifrit is is essentially like a jinn, like a genie, like a mischievous demon.
Well, how about when Pumpkin
Yeah.
met Ifrit?
Yeah, I thought that works. Though that could work. Yeah, I think let's stick with it.
Yeah.
When Pumpkin met Ifrit.
Oh, fuck. Don't call me that. But it's a real name.
I love it. And we can have it that's the names of our characters. Clown is Pumpkin and Ifrit's champion. Makes sense. All right.
But I think it would be reversed. But
I mean, it of
Yes,
course it actually makes more sense if it's reversed, but calling the champion Pumpkin.
oh, you just want to go
Call
complete
Michelle-
batshit.
No, I love the idea of calling Michelle Rodriguez Pumpkin and see what she does. Just to see what she does to you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll go ahead and recap everything for everyone, including us, especially us. The name of this story is When Pumpkin Met Ifrit, starring Michelle Rodriguez and Paul Bettany and Kate Blanchett as themselves. And I guess Eric Roberts. Since there's a mob crime lord, there's got to be Eric Roberts in there somewhere too. Mm-hmm. Okay. The genre was sci-fi. The setting is the big city. The time period is the future. Archetype number 1 is a champion. Archetype number 2 is a destroyer. And archetype number 3 is a clown. Words are hard. The street clown is working hard in the streets of the big city. The champion is an incredible female athlete and fighter that works for the mob, or is kind of a slave to the mob. And a destroyer is actually an artificial intelligence posing as the governor or the head of state in this big city. The clown unknowingly bumps into a crime lord and uses a sleight of hand to pick his pockets. The mob catches the clown and throws him into their fight pits and maze races, pretty much subjugating him to a life of slavery along with the champion. While this is happening, the mob is alerted to someone that wants to make a deal with them over something that they have. The mob goes to them and they get ambushed and all slaughtered off, and we have no idea who actually is able to do it to them. But in the shuffle, our heroes, the champion and the clown, are able to escape from the mob boss's hideout. The clown knows the streets very well and is able to his knowing, he's trying to escape from the mob. But it turns out he's able to actually escape from the eyes of the destroyer. And as the two go on the run, the clown realizes he has something precious in his possession, something he picked off the mob, and goes to a hacker friend of his to have them inspect it. The hacker, who is a Tim Blake Nelson type, looks at it and determines that the drive has a super duper virus on it, a virus that he himself is super knowledgeable as he is about computer stuff. It's beyond his understanding. He's able to decipher certain things about it, but not much else. He also tells them about how it's his belief that the city is being run, or the world essentially is being run by AI, it's computers and all kinds of things of that nature. It's super sci-fi. The champion and the clown, of course, roll their eyes at it. But the more the hacker talks, the more logical he does start to seem on some level. And as the two are getting ready to, as the champion and the clown are getting ready to leave the hacker's house, they get raided by the agents of the destroyer. It turns out that the drive that they have, as soon as it was put in or activated, it set off an alarm to the destroyer, and then the destroyer knew where to go. And so while the champion is fighting against the agents and the clowns trying to escape them, the hacker gets killed in the process. One of his last things, his dying words, is for the clown to take this device that he has, known as an EMP. The hacker pushes the EMP as a last-ditch effort before he dies, more or less, and it does give the two a second or two to escape, because some of the people that they're fighting against are in fact robots. As the champion figures out, actually punches against them. The duo then goes to the whereabouts that the hacker told them to go to, which is this big kind of computer silo where this mid-level boss is located. They try to threaten this guy, and the mid-level boss is pretty forthcoming with information because the mid-level boss doesn't like working for Kate anymore, as he describes her. As they're giving more information from him, the agents show up again, getting ready to threaten and kill them, and the champion takes the mini boss hostage, and the agents kill him off before they can do anything with it. Then the clown uses the EMP that the hacker gave him to kind of give them another break. But it turns out that the EMP, after it's been set off, again, it takes time to recharge. So as the two make their trek towards the Capitol building that the mini boss gave them location to go to, they get into a car, and the car gets targeted by the AI. Helicopters and other cars are coming at them left and right. The champion is doing everything she can to fight them off, but they are seemingly outdone. And the cars steer the car that they are on onto the railroad tracks as a train is coming towards them. Finally, at the last second, they're able to use the EMP to blow the cars away from them, and they escape just barely. The clown and the champion then go into the sewers to seemingly remain out of sight of everyone. And they use the sewer system to sneak into the Capitol building. Once they're inside the Capitol building, inside the main office of the Capitol building, Kate seemingly disables the champion. And while the champion is playing possum, she corners the clown, threatening him in all kinds of ways. And the clown seemingly gives up his trump card, aka the virus on the drive. Kate then destroys what she's been handed and tells the clown how she has no plans of stopping all her nefarious deeds, and how she will, of course, kill everyone that the clown and the champion know. The clown laughs it off like a real clown and says, you ever heard of sleight of hand? Points over at the champion as she uploads the virus into the hard drive of the destroyer. And then, of course, he says something like an 80s hero would and says, "You've been destroyed," or whatnot. And that is the legend of When Pumpkin Met Ifrit.
Yes. Nice.
Hell yeah.
We'll do.
I like it.
Now is my favorite part of the evening of the week is being able to see Ariana Horner's masterpieces. Ooh, I love it. Would you like to do the honors, Ari, of describing your desserts?
It's the exact same as last time, except I just went in and rendered them a bit more. The clown Ifrit is again more of like an androgynous trickster type with hot pink hair and like smeared clown makeup, and our pumpkin is delightful.
Yes.
She's not angry at all.
No.
Nope.
Not even
She is. She's.
Yeah.
She's. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. She's kind of cranky, serious faced, ready, scars on her face, ready to fuck up some shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was going to remark on, the scars. I didn't quite notice this as much last time, but I love the idea of the scars because obviously, if you were a person that was basically a modern day gladiator or futuristic gladiator for the mob for so long, you would have all kinds of scars. So yeah, I love the scars.
Yes. I love it. I think it's awesome. Yeah.
Yes, even the makeup, all the smeared makeup on the clown is more noticeable now too, like that as well. So really cool stuff. Very cool stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up. That wraps up another one. We got another one in the can. One of these is gonna get turned into a movie, video game, something. One of them. One of these days.
Or all of them. Or all of them. I love it.
Yes, and hopefully we'll be the ones who actually are producing it. Anyway.
Or making money off it. That's what you mean. Getting paid.
Yes. So, all right. Well, so I think that covers everything. Do either of you have anything you want to say before we wrap this puppy up for this week?
Not particularly.
No.
All right. Well, as always, thank you for listening. Please be sure to like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Twitch. You can find more of our stuff at www.thecipnetwork.com. And thank you again, everybody. And I hope y'all have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
storytellers gather, bringing with them only a set of dice, a scroll of magical story elements, and a passion to create. Rolling for genre, setting, and character archetype